Welcome to Right Through It. My name is Eric, and today I'm going to be picking my September TBR.
Eric!
Oh, God.
I am so excited that you agreed to let me pick your TBR for September.
Okay, apparently I'm not picking my TBR for September, and the Lit Wizard is picking my TBR for September.
It bummed me out a little bit when you said you hadn't found a book that you absolutely loved all the way through. And my goal this month is maybe check a couple of boxes off of your list, but also hopefully just find a book that you really connect with and really enjoy.
You know, that sounds pretty nice. I would really appreciate that. So I would love to hear what you have to say.
So I've picked a couple of books off your list, as well as a few books not on your list that I think that you'll really enjoy, just based off of the little bit I know about you so far. So I hope you give these ones a shot. I hope you find a new book that you love. I made sure to toss in a couple of shorter books, as well as some books that are just really easy to fly through.
That's actually a really good point. The length of books has been inadvertently short and long. I've been lucky that way, I guess, so I'm glad to hear that some of these books will be easy and maybe more challenging to read.
And the first one that I picked for you is Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. And I picked this book for a couple of different reasons. I think as a writer yourself, you'll really appreciate this book. And it also seems like you're somebody who enjoys learning about different cultures, about different issues that are really important to people, and hearing diverse stories and ideas.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do love to learn, and I'm finding out as I go with some of these important books, I'm finding that certain formats work better for me. So it might be an audiobook, it might be a paperback, it might be a movie, it might be a documentary, it might be a nonfiction book. So this is going to be a good one to get more exposure to a different way of conveying important stories. So I don't know much about this book, but I'm interested in always giving it a shot to find out how important stories, important voices get brought through the pages or through the audiobook, and see what it can teach me and how it can impact me. So I'm looking forward to that one. I will say with a caveat, I get nervous because I've had a streak that they haven't really hit for me, so I'm hoping this one does.
And I think this checks all of those boxes. It's action-packed, it's a really cool concept, it has really important things to say, and I think that you'll enjoy it. Next book that I picked for you, a little bit shorter and also one of my favorite books of all time. I might have squeezed it in here just because of how much I love it, but that book is Piranesi by Susanna Clark. Really short, easy to read book. I read this book in like 1 or 2 sittings, I think. I definitely read it in a day.
If I'm going to finish it in a day, it better be friggin' type 36 font.
And it kind of toes the line between fantasy and literary fiction. And that's the reason that I picked this book specifically for you. As a writer, I think you're really going to appreciate the way that this story is told, the way that it's structured, and how unique it is.
I like the element that you're giving where it's, because I'm a writer, I might think of it this way. And I really appreciate that you're thinking of me in that way as you pick these books. That's a cool thing. And a writer is what I want to be. It's what I aspire to be, so it's what I am, and I'm doing it, and I'm reading, and this book was on my list, but then it wasn't, and I don't remember why. I remember reading reviews and watching YouTube videos about them, and that was always on there, and I had it and I didn't have it, and I think it just depended on which person I was listening to that told the story or told about it in a way that maybe made me excited, and then one maybe not. So it's nice to have a friend who can just say, here's what you're reading, and take my brain out of the equation.
The next one I picked is definitely not on your list, but it should be. I don't know if that's because you've read it already. That's why I went with 5 books. You might not get to them all. I might have a duplicate in here for you. But that book is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Sci-fi, thriller, super fast pace. What is going on? You really want to figure it out. Get to the end of this book. This guy basically wakes up. Nothing is exactly the way that it's supposed to be. Everything is a little bit wrong, a little bit off. I've talked about this book on my channel a bunch of times, and for a reason. Even if you've watched the show or have a general idea of what this book is about, I highly, highly recommend reading this one. Another one you are absolutely going to fly through, again, if you haven't read it already.
Was not on my list, but I think that's one that was on the list of books I should read when I was going broad genre. I'm glad it's on there. I, again, don't know why it wasn't. There was something that made me not want to put it in my TBR, and I wish I remember what it was, but spoiler alert, I have already read the first 30, 40 pages, and it's been interesting. It's been good. I'm going to finish it, and it's a nice, I call them breezy reads that are easy. It's definitely not like poetic or prose heavy. It's just, it's almost written like a screenplay, which makes some sense because I think he is a screenwriter, and I think this was made into a TV show that he wrote. I could be wrong. but it reads very much like a screenwriter would write a book. So that's been fun as a screenwriter and writer myself.
Next one on my list I picked for a similar reason to Chain Gang All-Stars, but also because I'm aware of your general interest in the kind of stories that you seem to lean towards. And this one is on your list, and that's The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This is the thickest one on the list. Some nice, thick fantasy for you. I picked this one again, diverse stories, diverse ideas, diverse voices. It lets you explore other cultures kind of through the lens of a really cool fantasy book. Allegedly. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't gotten to this one yet, and maybe I will read this in September with you. But I've heard really good things, and the things that I've heard make me think of you. It's kind of like a militaristic fantasy, which is another reason that I wanted to pick it for you, and I think that you'll really enjoy this. Let me know if you want to buddy read this, and I'll move some things around, and maybe we can circle back on this one and both share our thoughts at the end of September.
I do. I would love to buddy read this one. Also, the militaristic thing is interesting because sometimes that goes hit or miss for me, because sometimes I have a hard time separating my military experience in combat from the military experience of somebody else's interpretation or style of combat. So it's very jarring to me sometimes, but it can be hit or miss. It's another spoiler alert. I've started reading this one and was not getting into it. I was about 35 pages in or something like that, and I switched to the audiobook, and that hits a lot better for me. And I don't exactly know why, but one thing I do know is having the narrator read to me and do accents, it makes me feel connected to characters in a lot more depth, and I appreciated that. This is also a book that I don't know if I'm going to love it or not like it, but what I do know is, like I said earlier, I think seeing this in a movie would be fantastic. It might be the format that would be best for me to enjoy this piece of fiction and get the messages it has for me. But I will be doing this buddy read on audiobook, good sir.
And that brings us to the last book on my list that I picked for you. Again, I don't expect you to read all 5 of these books. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll love all of them.
Oh, I'm reading them all. Just might take me 2 months.
But I wanted to give you enough where if you start reading it, you're not feeling it, you can DNF it and still have some other options and hopefully find an absolute banger for you. And the last one that I picked, I don't know if you'll have seen this one coming, maybe. It's also on your list, and that's Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman. Join the club, join the Discord, chat with us about Dungeon Crawler Carl. I really want to know what you think about this one. I was very skeptical going into Dungeon Crawler Carl, and it instantly became one of my favorite series of all time. It is one of those books that is just super bingeable. If you get into it, you are not going to want to put it down. And also, I just kind of want to talk to you about Dungeon Crawler Carl and see what you think.
It's so funny because I feel that same skeptical nature where I was like, I don't know. But I also really liked Ready Player One and Ready Player Two. And not that this is the same as that, but it's one of the reasons why I did put it on my TBR. Also, hearing everyone love it, including yourself, Lit Wizard. The passion behind it is very big, but it seems like the most unlikely hero of literature to me. But Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, Armada, those are some of my favorite books. And they're very RPG-like. They're very video game culture. And I don't know that this book is that, but it gives me that same vibe, I guess. So I am looking forward to it. And again, I'm glad that I have either my spinning wheel or a friend to tell me this is what I'm reading, because I probably wouldn't pick this book off of the shelf. And that is just a weird thing because I'll probably love it, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about it that made me just like not just go and gravitate towards it and move to other titles. But I'm excited to read it, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. Definitely looking forward to discussing more about Dungeon Crawler, Dungeon Crawler, Dungeon Crawler, help me, Dungeon Crawler, Dungeon Crawler Carl. That doesn't even sound right anymore, but I think that's what it is. Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm looking forward to talking about that book with you, but never saying the name again.
So that's it. I have now picked your September TBR. Thank you for trusting me with this. We will see how it goes. Apologies in advance if it goes terrible. But again, we've got Chain Gang All-Stars, Piranesi, Dark Matter, The Rage of Dragons, and Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's a banger lineup, and if you can't find a new favorite book out of those 5, I don't know what to tell you. You're a lost cause. Again, appreciate it. Reading is a treat, and so are you. Goodbye.
I don't know why, but when he said reading's a treat and so are you, I get that's the tagline, but it's and so am I, and it always makes you laugh. But hearing it that I'm a treat, it's touching. And it's unexpectedly so. So that's not the point of the video. But What I did want to say in closing is, yes, I'm not a lost cause. I know I'm not, and it's not your fault, but I do thank you because I'm sure you gave me some really good ones. I see it already. But the takeaway at the end is never underestimate the small act of kindness, even if it's a turn of phrase that can impact someone in a positive way. It's really not that hard, but when we overthink it, it becomes very difficult. So in that simple sign off, I smiled bigger than I did in the whole video. It made me feel good, and I just want everyone to see that it doesn't take a lot to impact someone in a positive way. So thank you, Lit Wizard, for this list. I'm excited to dig into it. It was a fun way to figure out my TBR instead of spinning my wheel. So thank you for offering and agreeing to do this with me. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time, journey well, my friends.